Think of your most vivid memory, the one you'd swear happened exactly like you remember it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. It probably didn't. Your brain isn't a tape recorder. It's more like a really confident storyteller who makes stuff up as it goes. Every time you remember something, your brain doesn't hit play on a saved recording. It rebuilds the memory from scratch using a pattern of neurons firing together. And every time you rebuild it, that pattern gets a tiny bit rewritten. Old details get overwritten by newer ones. That's literally why you forget specifics. Your brain doesn't have room for every version, no version history, no undo button. To understand why, we have to go back, way back before you could even hold your own head up. When you were born, your brain was, and I mean this nicely, unfinished. Compare that to a baby zebra, up and running within minutes of being born. Its brain came pre-wired, yours didn't. Humans are born live-wired instead. Which means your brain shows up to the job with barely any of the wiring done, then spends the next 2 years firing up neurons at a pace it will never hit again. But having more neurons isn't the goal. As you grow, your brain starts cutting unused connections, a process called pruning. Pathways you use often get thicker and stronger, the ones you don't just disappear. This keeps going for years. The part in charge of judgment and self-control, the prefrontal cortex, isn't finished until your mid-20s. So if you've ever wondered why teenagers make questionable decisions, the control room isn't fully staffed yet, and this shaping doesn't happen in a vacuum. Babies who don't get enough care early on can end up with underdeveloped emotional circuitry, which shows up later as more anxiety, more emotional reactivity. Your childhood literally builds your brain. Here's the part that should actually excite you. This never fully stops. Your brain keeps rewiring itself as an adult too. Skills you practice get physically stronger connections. Even the folds in your brain can shift over time. You are quite literally sculpting your own brain in real time, whether you mean to or not. Think of your brain less like one machine and more like a toolbox full of specialized tools. If one tool breaks, from injury or disease, the rest of the toolbox tries to pick up the slack. But damage to the wrong region can also change who you are. More anger, more anxiety, sometimes depression. Your brain isn't just where your personality lives. In a lot of ways, it is your personality. Chronic stress, depression, anxiety, these speed up memory loss and raise your risk of dementia. But the reverse is true too. A daily walk, game night with friends, even hanging out with a pet. Small, boring, unglamorous things, and they physically improve how your brain functions. Ever smell something and suddenly get hit with a memory you hadn't thought about in years? That's your brain recognizing a familiar pattern and firing up the old pathway attached to it. So, back to that memory you were so sure about. It's not exactly a lie, it's a live edit, updated every time you open the file. Your brain isn't a recording of who you are. It's still being written, one walk, one conversation, one memory at a time, which means the version of you a year from now, still under construction, might as well build it on purpose.